Just making sure the video is still going. Starting off the carries. So with the deadlifts, felt super easy, but I think that's part of the problem because I didn't. I almost took it too casually and tightened up the back a little bit. Nothing to worry about. Don't worry. So to balance that out, today we're going a little lighter. As much as I'd like to just push through, and crush it, I've learned that that's typically not the best strategy when it comes to lower back stuff, because pushing through to an extent, like keep moving, obviously that's always the best thing. Well, for myself at least, that's been the best thing for lower back, but just like going all out and like doing 100% back at it with the carries today, that probably would just kind of continue the lower back tightness. Whereas if I just take a little easier, do maybe a couple sets of carries with lighter weight instead of heavy, then things will heal up quickly. Let me get my thumbnail real quick. Hang on. Second set. So that's how I'll balance out, because today I wanted to go back to probably 240 per hand. But, back was feeling really, really good after taking 3 weeks full recovery. And I think I just basically didn't brace enough on the deadlift and run into trouble really quick when that happens. Even if you're working with weight that's not max effort, which 425 for 10 for me was supposed to be the rolling start back into things. But, if you want to lift weights for a year, okay, maybe you got to plan differently if you're just trying to go all out for 1 year. I want to lift weights forever, so it would be stupid of me to just hammer my spine into nothingness. I got to be cautious. So that's where the back grips make this 100 pounds per hand feel like, 200, 250. So we can still get some good work in, build the grip a little bit, and not decimate the spine. All right, let's keep this workout going. Carries, complete, no damage, felt solid. I always like to keep moving if something's feeling a little tight. I found that sitting typically is the worst option for myself because stuff just gets tighter. It's that balance between, okay, I can't go 100% effort because that's just going to snap stuff up even worse, but I need to do something. So that's where it's a term I hear people using a lot on YouTube now, nuance, for some reason, the last couple of YouTube videos. Everyone's using these big words, so I guess I got to join the game. Let's check the body weight, see what we got. I did just have some water, just a little bit though, nothing crazy. We'll check the body weight, see where we're at using the E-Tech City scale. We get the other shoe off. See what we got. All right, we'll take it. We shall take it. All right, let me show you the workout. Hang on. Oh, something for anybody that's interested in any of the equipment in the gym, I'm slowly adding to the list, but I started just like a massive list basically of all the stuff that I have here. You can find it in my profile on YouTube, like right next to the picture. There's this section that shows a bunch of info, like I think it's just like the channel front page. I don't know. And you've got a link right there, and it'll take you right to a place where you can find all the stuff I have in my gym. Almost all of it. I'm still adding stuff, like I said. And if you have any questions about any stuff that you don't see on that list yet, feel free to drop a comment and I'll make sure that I add that to the list. It just takes a little while to find all this stuff, but occasionally I get asked about that, so now you can find all of it. All right, let me show you. Bulk day 69, we did the 2 sets of carries. We're gonna do back squats, heel elevated, and then we're gonna do some rear foot split squats. I am gonna keep those in the routine, especially for today because they don't tax the lower back at all, so that should be good. The good mornings, I know that sounds kind of weird because it does work the lower back a little bit, but I'm just gonna go really light and use it to make sure it can help to traction the spine a little bit and create a little bit of space. So that should be good. And then we'll do some calves. I've heard people talking about this before, like lifters saying how they got hurt on a warm-up set. Got rust on here because I haven't used it in a little while. And I think that's kind of, I feel like that tracks because like, okay, 600-pound deadlift, no problem at all. First day back after a deload, that's where you have a little bit of a tweak, you know. It's just how it goes, though. Like it's part of the journey, unfortunately. I mean, obviously, I hope nobody ever gets injured, but occasionally you have little tweaks here and there, and it's okay. Do I give up lifting and take up underwater basketry, or do I figure out okay, what did I do wrong? How can I adjust? So that hopefully it doesn't happen again. I mean, I've learned if you're going to push the limits that occasionally stuff is going to get, you're going to run into that. Typically the overuse injuries the most, but deadlifts and lower back, that's how it goes. Typically it's something that kind of builds up over time and then you do something slightly the wrong way and that's where you'll get, a little bit more of a acute injury. I just like to be cautious because I don't want to push through something and end up with something more significant. There we go. But don't let whatever you got going on get you down. Just, figure out what went wrong, why it occurred, if possible, and then be more cautious the next time. Like for me, example, maybe I could have gone 405 for 10 or 8 to build back or even lighter, honestly, but I thought 425 was reasonable. Again, it could have just been that I didn't brace well enough. If you could go back and say, oh, stop at 8 reps, but there's no sense worrying about that. Onward to the next. So that actually felt really good on the heel elevated squat. So I'm going to rest a little bit, probably go up to 185, 225, and we might do 275. All of this tracks with what I was going to do today anyway. I wasn't going to go into the 315, 365, anything like that, because I want to get a lot of reps in, build the quads, no heavy weight. But like I said, that fits well with back being, a little bit tweaked, because that would not be a great day to push it and go, let's go 405 and see what happens. And probably go for 10, and then we'll go up either 1 or 2 more times. I feel like I owe it to everybody watching the channel to tell you about like the ups and the downs. I mean, I had a streak of unbroken, successful deadlifts for a year with not even a lower back tweak. So I feel extremely lucky to have that much consistency, so I'm not going to then just kind of pretend like, oh, the back feels fine. We're just like moving on to better things or something and swapping out the deadlift for something else. Like, no, I'm going to tell you, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what happened. We're going to move through it. It's going to be fine. I don't think that will be realistic because I think people do occasionally tweak stuff. It's how it goes. Ooh. That ringing in the ears, not fun. If I do. think that was 8, maybe 10, not sure. Whew. Good to be back to squats. Little rest, probably go 225 and then rest it. I know not the monstrous numbers, but safety first, long term. You know, if you're building your base, you're building your house, and you run into issues with the foundation, you could just cover it up, move on, hope for the best, or you could, all right, hold on, we're gonna slow things down, fix this, then move on, right? That's the analogy for today. Yes, my house foundation is fine. So beltless felt better, so I'm gonna try and learn from my mistakes and just stay at the same weight, get a good set here, hopefully 10, and then we'll move on to the rear foot squats. I know pretty light as far as my back squat goes, but it'll loosen up the legs, get everything ready for front squats on Thursday, and keep everything feeling good. And yeah, not aggravate anything, which is most important. Did it again. That's fine. Hope that wasn't only 9. It might have been. All right. Good introduction back to the back squats. I'm going to rest a little bit, and then we'll do those rear foots. Probably paired with the good mornings, I think, because the rear foots don't get the lower back at all. Maybe we'll do like a circuit of 3 or something, finish out the workout. All right, so I'm going to change up the order. We're going to go probably just 2 sets, calves first, then rear foots. I know I said I was going to get rid of the rear foots, but that was pre the devastating spinal injury. Just kidding. I was thinking about swapping them out depending on how things felt, but then I was like, you know, there's single leg movement, which will help with imbalances, like other imbalances, and they put 0 pressure on the spine compared to most other leg exercises. So probably a good one to keep in the routine, but I am quite excited about having the, you know, I can leave my shoes on for these calf raises back because calf growth has suffered. I'll probably go up after the first set. These car alarms going off. There's rust on here. Hopefully they realize soon. Otherwise, Buddy's gonna wake up. Those felt really good. Also, having some downward pressure on the spine, like light, I think is good actually, because you need, if you don't have a strong core, you're going to run into back issues constantly. I'm going to do probably 42s first set, 10 each side, and then maybe we'll try the 52s because we did work up to the 52s, so that should be doable. Thanks for being along for the journey. I appreciate that. We're over the year on YouTube now since posting these videos, so good stuff. Remember, channel membership coming out, 14 days. We're going to be launching that. That's got the videos, talking about exercise tutorials, talking about training principles. It's going to have a full ebook program for the bulk program that I used over the past year. And then I'll have some novice, intermediate, just general strength programs. And then, of course, you also get the custom emojis and highlighted comments. There's a ton of different stuff. It's a pretty good deal, in my opinion, obviously, because I'm the one promoting it, for $3 per month. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but also it'll help support me in the channel. So I appreciate that. Let's see, I'm going to go left side first. That was 7. It's different doing them in these squishy shoes. Ooh, I should have rested in between. It's too late now. I think one more. Little rest. I'm gonna make sure the video is still going. Good. We'll hydrate. Back to the calf raises. I've run into a couple of little things over the past year documenting. I had knee tightness pop up from moving the feet out on squats. Elbow stuff from skull crushers. Elbows actually feel really good though, so I think we can go back to the 65s on Monday, just tomorrow. I think that's pretty much it. It is kind of humorous that this happened after taking the longest break from deadlifts that I've taken. It's just how it goes. I do agree with that statement that injuries can pop up. Obviously, you can have catastrophic stuff happen when you're doing big weights, but when you're not fully braced, you're in between that first set and that last set somewhere, and you're not fully, activated. Like 425, I'm kind of like, that's not really, it's not crazy weight. I should be fine. But in reality, I should have been thinking, this is a max effort for 10. Let me get this going, All right. Here we go. Probably 20, another 20. These build up really quick. I mean, you saw last time it was a rocket ship to 295, 300 there. All right. Whew. All right, little rest. We'll get the rear foots. Calves are feeling good. A calf thumbnail, it never tends to do well. I don't know what the deal is. Again, I don't think the natty community on YouTube, I don't see a lot of calf content. Maybe people just hate training calves. I don't know. I really like training them. I wish I had one of those standing calf raise machines. Don't forget to check out on my YouTube bio the link, all the stuff I've got in this gym. I put together a list. It's not complete yet, we're still adding, but anything you're interested in purchasing for yourself, go check it out because it's all listed there, almost all of it. All right, we'll give it a couple seconds and we'll get 10. Bench. Oh, I didn't document for yesterday's workout because I did it live. There you are. I thought you were over there. This is still a pretty solid workout. Carry, fat grips. You got to write down your workouts. I mean, if you don't, you're going to be thinking in the last seconds before you do your top set, like, did I get 10? Did I get 11 last time? Like, it's just always good to have it written down, every set, every rep. Carry, fat grip. 1. Then there's nothing left to doubt, you know. See, now I know next time, like I've got a note, you know, hey, things felt decent on the lower back, but be cautious. You know, I know for next time. And that way, you avoid comparing yourself to previous PRs, which is a deadly game. Like, if I went into this workout thinking about my best squat set for sets of 8, which is like 385, I think, that's not going to help me when I am trying to go lighter. You know what I mean? Like, that's just going to mess with me. You know, now I've got this written down, so for next time, I just try and beat what I did today instead of comparing yourself. Otherwise, we're our harshest self-critic. You're comparing yourself to the strongest you ever were, the biggest you ever were, the leanest you ever were. Like, no, just compare yourself to last week, get a little better than that. Now you can hear the personal trainer coming out. Just 8. Those, if I added in some kind of tempo, I think I would just end up stopped doing deadlifts. Don't worry, we're not stopping deadlifts. But I forget if I think he does sumo deadlifts. But still, I mean, sumo deadlifts for sure easier on the back, more upright position, less of an actual applicable movement when you're picking something up. I just don't like sumo deadlifts. There, I said it. I think it's different than conventional. It should be in a different class, you know. Like Hathor pulling 501 kilograms. Some other people have done 501 kilograms, and the range of motion on those sumo deadlifts is just like barely anything at all. I think it's like a technique, the equivalent of bench pressing like this. You know, it's just not the same thing. I know there's, again, the nuance, the in-between area. But Hathor, Eddie Hall's 500 kg, 501, that was a solid deadlift with a decent amount, like the weight actually moved a decent amount. Some other people that are actually really strong and conventional too. So it's not like those people are ridiculously strong. It's just sumo deadlift's just not like, it's not going to be a movement that grows the powerlifting sport, in my opinion. Same thing with the bench press, where the elbows are super, super wide out and it's this tiny range of motion. Like, it's not somebody, you know, that scrolls by it on YouTube is not going to click on it. Like they're going to think it's like a gym fail or something, you know. But that's why I think Johnny Hack is such a popular lifter, is because, and I've followed him for 12 years now, super long time, 10 to 12 years, when he was lifting with Pete Rubish, like way back in the day at Madtown Fitness. And let me start these. He always did conventional deadlift. He always did kind of like a high bar, like a full range of motion squat. It was like feet forward. It was an aesthetically pleasing squat, you know? It was like, okay, that's a good squat. Like, look at that. And then bench press. He always did a full range of motion bench press. So I think that's part of why he's got a really good following. It's like fun to watch him lift, because you're like, okay, that looks like he did 500 pounds the way maybe, you know, someone does 225 pounds at the gym. All right, this is a new movement for me, so I'm gonna go close stance. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Now, I'm not heavy on this because that would be a surefire way to snap something up even worse. But I'm going to give it a try. Because I would prefer to be back to full strength on deadlifts sooner rather than later. All right, it's good for the first set. But yeah, if you watch all of his lifts, full range of motion, good technique, again, aesthetically pleasing. Same thing with Clarence Kennedy. I know he doesn't like when people get fired up about his 750 deadlift and stuff like that. But his bench press, a close grip, doesn't do a crazy arch, full range of motion. His squat obviously is, you couldn't possibly do any more range of motion than what he does. He doesn't pause every squat at the bottom. He's done a 675 all the way to the ground, pause squat with no belt. 675, 7 plates. A 7-plate deadlift is incredibly impressive. But a 7-plate high bar pause squat with no belt and more depth than you ever thought possible, I mean, as opposed to somebody throwing on the knee sleeves, and no offense meant to that person at all. It's just one, in my opinion, is so clearly different than the other. Clarence actually did a funny video. It was like powerlifting versus weightlifting. Yeah, I guess he didn't go on his channel for like 3 months and then went on and just posted this, like, it was like shots fired video, you know, because it just showed these powerlifters doing these super, super short range of motion squats. And you just look at it and you're like, how did that get 3 white lights? Like, how was that? And then him, and then Klokoff and a bunch of other lifters doing some real squatting, even though the squatting was less. Like, they were squatting 500, 600s, and people with wraps were, you know, doing 1,000 pounds, I guess. But it's just not, I don't know, not the same thing. That's why I think equipped powerlifting has kind of faded away. You know, I think it doesn't have as much of an audience. I guess I don't really need to brace for these. Maybe I should start doing these like every day. I don't think that 650 deadlift is going to happen this year. But I was kind of running out of time on that anyway when I decided to take the 3 weeks. Look where those 3 weeks got me. Actually, though, prior to Thursday deadlifting, everything was feeling absolutely stellar. So I was like, this was a good decision. Those do feel good. Get you dizzy, though, at the end of the workout. All right, I think that's it. Thanks for listening to me talk about the powerlifting and everything. Again, reminders, we got the links in the bio if you want to purchase anything that I've got in my gym. Obviously, none of it is like a company I own or anything like that, but I just figured I'd put a list together. And it's all accessible for you now. I'll keep adding stuff to it. And then channel membership coming out September 15th, so be on the lookout for that. I'm going to have a lot of cool stuff. I already talked about it once, so I won't go over it again. But I'm really excited about it. Appreciate the support as always. Hope you have an excellent day, and hope you're getting a workout in, and stay healthy out there and be safe. You know, if you snap something up, really like take your time, take the emotion out of it. You know, which is a very hard thing to do sometimes. You're like, if you're on a journey to accomplish a goal, it's easy to just say, oh, I'll just push through and deal with it later. But inevitably, whatever it is, like if you just push through and continue to aggravate it, it's just gonna get worse. So you might as well just take the time and deal with it at the beginning, and then maybe you're only running into a couple days, couple weeks of issues, as opposed to really snapping something up. So stay safe out there, stay strong, and don't forget to hydrate. All right, that's it. Peace.